Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which means it's once again time for our weekly viewer special. For those of you who are new to the channel / series, every week on Monday, we showcase games from you all, the viewers. It's a good way to show off your cool decks and or awesome clutch games that you've had with them. So if you're interested in getting in on this, you're going to want to head down to the description below. There under the there you can find a Discord link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex, and there under the Master Duel section you'll find a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. Once there, please leave your 9-digit player ID. Make sure that's entered correctly, that way I can see your publicly saved replays. Please do also make sure your replays are set to public. You can submit more than one. If you have one specific game you really want me to see, though, among your saved ones, make sure you're leaving either your opponent's name, the date and time, or a screenshot, something so I know that that's the game you want me to see. But that's pretty much it, so let's just get right on into your duels. Alright, the first duel for today comes to us from Abe Mania. Abe's got a game where we are playing the new Fabled support. So yeah, Fabled as a pure, well, somewhat pure deck here. We're playing Fiendsmith, but to be fair, Fiendsmith does support Light Fiend monsters, which the Fabled archetype is exclusively Light Fiend. So yeah, very eager to see how this build plays out. Also, I'm going to go through this, I think, in my own time and see exactly how many URs there are for this deck, because I think it's just one copy of the Synchro monster. And if that's the case, it's like, you know, might as well try the deck out, right? Yeah, it's looking like that's the only, like, in-archetype UR, which is kind of wild if true. Very, very cheap deck. Very, very fun-looking one, too. All right, and our opponent is going to be on Fiendsmith Yubel. A deck that's still quite good. I didn't include it in my last tier list, but I kind of forgot about it, if I'm being completely honest. But I do still think Fiendsmith Yubel is a solid, like, either lower tier 2 or upper tier 3 deck in this meta, for sure. So let's see how our Fabled build fares against Yubel. Fiend versus Fiend. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, the last time I played Fabled was way back in the day when you were just like drawing your whole deck with multiple copies of Hyper Librarian. Alright, Stairway to a Fabled Realm. Gonna send the Beaver. We're gonna go for Gen, give them Ken F. Lets us draw 2, discard 1. Choosing to pitch the Engraver there. Our opponent's gonna hit us with that Droll and Lockbird, but thankfully our Fabled Realms Revival sets directly from the deck. Now using Fabled Behemoth, we're gonna discard it and another copy in order to summon our level 4 Fabled Gamagen, which looks like that summons one from deck. Hang on, I kind of want to read that for a second. Yep, summons a Fabled from hand or deck. Also, when sent to the graveyard, draw cards equal to a Fabled Synchro monster you control, then discard a card. Unfortunately, because of draw, we won't get to draw here. Going for Fabled and Wraith. And then we're going to link off Fabled Gamagen, and that's going to let us begin our Fiendsmith plays. Of course, not only does the Fiendsmith tract search out our Fabled stuff, but since our Fabled stuff is all Light Fiends, any one of them can start pivoting into Fiendsmith plays. That's why we were able to get rid of the Engraver earlier, because we wanted to keep both copies of our Fabled monsters to be able to synchro from hand, right? And it doesn't really matter if we give up on Engraver, because we're going to have access to Light Fiends anyway. Alright, going for 3 here. It's going to be Desiree, yep. Sequence F to equip to the Desiree, and then we are passing. So we also set one of the Fabled trap cards here. What does this one do? Target a Fabled monster in the graveyard or face a card in the field. Discard a card if you do special something else for the graveyard. If you destroy the card on the field. Okay. So we get to pop, revive, and then we discard one. They're going to lead with normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast. We're going to fire off our Max C. They have a call by, so no Max C for us unless, yep, we choose to use the Desiree effect. And we could actually use Desiree to negate both Call By and Dark Beckoning Beast here. Perfect. Now they're under the sea, and they don't... under the sea. And, yeah, they don't get to go for the search there. They do get to take our Desiree. A little bit unfortunate. Looks like they're choosing to negate a couple of our cards before linking off into the Fiendsmith's Requiem. Desiree F, we're going to activate, shuffling back the sequence, targeting their Dark Beckoning Beast. definitely the right call there. Obviously, targeting the Requiem would not end up going well for us. Now, the Yubel can use the Fiendsmith engine in order to pivot into its own engine, because they can go for Sequence to fusion summon the Aerial Eater, and then Aerial Eater to dump D-Lotus before reviving with Muckraker. But here, we're just going to go for the Fabled Treason. That way we can pop the Sequence. We already have the Fabled Grimbro in hand, which I believe searches upon discard. So we are definitely good to go here. And that was a pretty excellent example of just how well Fabled can play, especially with the fact that it can use the Fiendsmith stuff so well. This wasn't even like we didn't even like super pop off on turn 1, right? We didn't get to go full like hand ripping them with the new level 10, which is like the more flashy side of what Fabled can do. Here we played a very low to the ground game where we, had to play through disruption, both, on our turn and theirs, and we're able to still come out on top, which I think is a really good indication of a deck's true strength. But yeah, thank you for showing us that game. Mania, let's go and check out the next one. Alright, next duel comes to us from Kelto28. Kelto28 has some games with Branded as Amina. It's been a while since we've watched Branded, so I figured we'd go ahead and take a look at that here. We have a going second game. I think this is going to be against Ryzeal, but a playset of Ultimate Slayers here. This is a very good out to Detonator. Very, very good out to Detonator, because it shuffles it back into the deck, so that way they can't just revive it with like the plugin. And obviously they can't respond to it by Detonator popping itself. Alright, and then let's see here. Like I said, our opponent's going to be on Ryzeal. Oh, no, sorry, that's the wrong game. Or the wrong, yeah, here we go. Yeah, opponent's going to be on Ryzeal. Really anti-Malice here with a playset of Lancia and Meows. I think that's really unnecessary, especially because you already have the Meows in here. Like, this is a lot of what I mean when I said in a recent video that I don't think Lancia is good in this meta, because even if you want to tech against Malice, you could play something like Meowls, which is good against Malice and other decks as well. But especially in Ryzeal, with Meowls being level 4, even if you're not playing against a deck where it's good, you could at least normal summon it. I get why they're maxing out on Lancia over Meows, probably because this is a UR, but if you're really going for efficiency, you should be probably playing Meows before maxing out on Lancia. This is just super unnecessary IMO. But alright, let's go ahead and check this game out. We're going second here, so eager to see what our opponent sets up on turn 1 here and how we are able to play through it. Was it 5 turns? This should be a bit of a grind game here. Alright, looks like we're leading with the Fuelos, as well as a bunch of pretty good cards to go into our opponent's turn here. They're going to lead with X to send Aggregator, add Sword. Next, going for Bonfire here to add the Star Ryzeal. So I imagine we're going to get special swords, Sword F. We're going to go for Chain Fuelos. Makes sense. They've got 2 level 4s in the field, so yeah, naturally they're going to end up making a rank 4 here shortly. Going for the Ice Ryzeal. Alright, so we're going for Saronir, banishing the Aggregator. That way they can't go straight into Detonator to attach it. Makes sense. They're going to go normal Ice, bring out Node from deck, going for Duo Drive. Yeah, they're just going to go for it, aren't they? Just totally full combo here. Alright, we found our Ultimate Slayer. That's really, really good. Plays around Cross as well. Just getting rid of that Detonator. They can't respond to it. And obviously Cross can only respond to monsters anyway. Droplet's also pretty good against Ryzeal, again, because they can't respond to it with the Detonator, right? Like, you want to be able to negate Detonator, but they can just chain to Imperm, so. Alright, so we end up getting a total of 3 draws, right? Off that. So that was pretty good for us. Here's the Ultimate Slayer, putting back the Detonator. Now, they do still have the ability to make another Detonator here, but negating the Cross is a really, really good start. Going for a Cartesia off the Fusion deployment here before going normal summoning Alibur. I wonder, okay, so this is me not being very experienced with Branded. I probably would have just pulled Albaz out of the deck because I'm just like basic brained, but It's not like we really need to use Albaz against either of these targets anyway. And I think I see what you were going for here. I think the idea is that we summon Cartesia, that way when we normal summon Aliber, if our opponent has an Imperm, we can chain Cartesia, fuse away the Aliber, then it's no longer in the field, and then it resolves. So that's the kind of thing where, like, I definitely feel like Branded requires you to have some, like, very, very in-depth knowledge of the deck in order to... I mean, I guess that doesn't even require that much in-depth knowledge. You just have to be thinking about all of this at the same time, right? Which I guess kind of where I struggle playing a deck like Branded. There's so much going on that at each given turn I want to take the simplest route, which of course is not always going to be the correct one. Alright, they're going to flip a face-down Plasma Hole here. So we're going to fuse into Masquerade with Saronir plus Aliber. Chainlink 1 Saronir, Chainlink 2 Lost F. Lost F is going to let us add the Albion the Shrouded Dragon, whereas Saronir is going to dump off the Branded Retribution. Albion F, we get to send Branded in white, which we can, of course, I'm assuming we're going to add that back with Retribution here. And then we also have Branded in High Spirits as well. Yep, there's the Branded in white back to our hand. High Spirits reveal Albion to send Dogmatica, add Springin's Kit. And then we can go Springin's Kit F to summon. Adding back the Banished Retribution, putting back this extra fusion deployment makes sense. We're going to go for the Branded in white here. Masquerade burns them as they go for the Lancia, which actually, you know, this is a matchup where Lancia can catch some strays. But we were still able to at least take out their Star Ryzeal, set the Retribution and the Droplet, moving to main phase 3, end phase. We're going to use Quim, send Albaz, Cartesia add itself back to hand, and then pass back over to our opponent. Alright, we got the Tax Dragon up, so yep, they're going to take 600 every time they want to try to make an action here. Or rather, activate an effect. Basically take an action in Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're going to go Ice for Sword from deck, Sword for X, X send Aggregator. Is that a second Aggregator? I think it is, actually. Didn't we banish the first one? We did. I actually like the idea of 2 Aggregator and Ryzeal. I think I might try that in the near future, because I've definitely had situations where I wish I had a second Aggregator. Alright, we're making another Detonator here. Detonator F, attaching the Aggregator from the graveyard. Cross F, shuffling back the Plasma Hole and Star Ryzeal to draw a card. Specialing the Node, or that might have been a normal actually. Going for the Star Ryzeal off the plug-in, attaching to the Duo Drive from deck. Opponent's going to try to just swing here. But Aliber F gets to negate the Duo Drive while reviving itself. Meaning we get to tank a lot of this damage, almost all of it in fact. So they're going for their Starliege Photon Blast Dragon, which is going to protect the Ryzeal Detonator from being targeted or destroyed by card effects. Any monster, a 3k war attack, but of course that's going to be Detonator here. So Detonator's got extra protection on top of its built-in protection, and we got to put up with the Ryzeal Cross as well. Now during their end phase, we get back Branded, High Spirits, and Masquerade, but let's see what we can do here. So we're going to end up using Droplet. Droplet send Retribution plus Aliber. It's going to negate both the Starliege and the Detonator, and of course they're not going to be able to respond to it. Now that Retribution's in the graveyard, we get to put the Branded Fusion back into our hand, and they have an Ash Blossom, our mortal enemy. Dang. But you know what? We're still in a pretty good spot here, because among having Cartesia, we also still have the ability, if nothing else, we could just battle over the Detonator here, but we can definitely still do better than that, right? Cartesia going into the Granganol here, and then Quim gets to revive the Albaz, as well as, of course, Granganol getting to trigger here. Brandon lost, adding another Albaz. And then we're sending Albion to bring back Albaz. Albaz F, pitch Branded in High Spirits, Cross F going to negate on the Resolution. But now we can still go to battle phase. Albaz battle over Detonator. And then Granganol's going to battle over Ice Ryzeal. Makes sense, because Duo Drive can't do anything with only one material, and Starliege isn't doing anything without, you know, it's got nothing to protect right now. End phase Branded Red, adding back the Aliber, and then now we're going to fuse Albaz plus Oliver in order to make Lubellion. And then, of course, that lets us activate the Lubellion F, pitching our extra Albaz in order to fuse into Mirror Jade. No, Chaos Star Source Dragon. Oh, that way we can get rid of the Cross, yeah, and the Duo Drive. Good call, good call. Excuse me. See, again, that's exactly why I would not consider myself a good Branded player at all. I would have gone for Mirror Jade there. I keep forgetting that Branded keeps getting more access to more and more options. But, hell yeah. Very, very good game. Thank you very much, Kelto, for that one. We have time for one more, so let's finish off with one last duel here. Okay, last duel for this video comes to us from the one and only on the Discord server, aka Fun Enjoyer. And Fun Enjoyer is going to be enjoying some Subterror gameplay here. Subterror is honestly a pretty cool deck. I think it really embodies the control, the grindy aspect of a control back row deck. I mean, Lab does too, but Subterror Final Battle being able to use every single turn, this is, I will maintain this is so much better than it looks. You might see all these effects and be like, yeah, you get to use it once per turn, but aren't these all weak effects? No, these are all good effects. I can definitely attest from having played against the deck. And looks like we are going up against Ryzeal once again. So, going second for a back row deck, never ideal, but especially against a deck like Ryzeal, where they could potentially establish the detonator and just start popping all of our stuff. Let's see how we're able to play through this one here. Okay, we did get an evenly matched. They're gonna go Sword for the X. X to dump Aggregator. Aggregator on Sword to chain block. Although evenly doesn't really do a lot for us here, because of course it's not like they're gonna go for battle. Alright, Cross, and then I imagine... Oh no, this is Banshee? Really? Interesting. Is Cross is from only a Ryzeal monster, right? Yeah, okay. I'm not that big of a fan. I gotta admit, I'm really not that big of a fan of going for a Banshee. I know you can still technically play through Nib with the plugin, but I feel like you're giving up a lot of, I don't know. It just feels like a really risky play to me for, seemingly no reason. Well, not no reason, I get it, but, not that much of an advantage, really. Alright, here's the detonator. Detonator, of course, attaching the aggregator. Cross F, shuffle back the star and the node to draw. Setting 3 for a total of 4 face downs before passing. Why did they set 1 sooner? That wasn't the plugin, was it? Oh yeah, evenly... I don't know why I said evenly doesn't help going second. Because we can use it during our battle phase. Could you believe it's been that long since I've been hit with an evenly? So, okay, yeah, it was plug-in. I don't know why our opponent set plug-in before everything else. I thought that was a little bit weird, but I had a feeling that's what that face down was. It was what else would it be? We might have even seen it get set, I don't remember. But anyway, so we're going to set 4 of our own before passing. Draw phase, punishment. They're, of course, going to chain detonator. Target another one of our face downs, which ends up being the final battle. We're sending the ZW. The ZW Leo arms. That's cool. Alright, they're going straight for battle phase to battle over our Nemesis Archer. Nemesis Archer F gets to set the Guru from our deck. And now they're passing with a 0 mat detonator up, which of course is not threatening in the slightest. Finding the Hidden City! That might have been one of our best top decks there. Maybe, I don't know. We might have had better. Adding the Fiendus, flipping up the Guru. They're going to try to Ash, but of course we literally just added Fiendus, so that isn't going to resolve. Definitely kind of seems like a player who might not know Subterror, because I feel like you definitely would have Ashed the Hidden City otherwise. I feel like you should have Ashed that either way, right? Well, no, it seemed like they were intentionally saving it for Guru, but don't they both add Subterror cards? Yeah. They're going to go for Utopic Ray Lancer. We've got a Solemn Warning for that. And end phase, we can start looping Final Battle. Final Battle flips up the Guru. Guru gets the Search. They're going to Ash the Guru, which is going to be fine because we can just flip it down next turn. And yeah, this is what I mean when I say it's more of just a really grindy control deck, right? Like, we're just going to be flipping up this Final Battle and Guru every turn, getting Fiendus and just cycling these negates. We're not even using our Floodgate cards here, by the way. Like, I know a lot of people criticize this deck as like, oh, it's just a Floodgate deck. We did not need to flip up either of those continuous trap cards in order to win this duel, by the way. I think a lot of people will see that. They'll see, like, you know, because Lab does it sometimes, even Blue Eyes does it sometimes, where they'll play like 1 or 2 random Floodgate cards, and people just be like, oh, it's a Sun deck, it doesn't count, it doesn't count. But no, we did not need Floodgates in order to win here. Subterror is a very respectable control deck, for sure. But that is going to do it for this game. Thank you very much, Fun Enjoyer. It's also going to do it for this video. Again, if you want to get in on some future viewer special action, make sure to head over to the Discord server and submit your games over there. But that's going to do it. Thank you so very much for watching. Let's move on now to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which, by the way, is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.